I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHack's Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is, if he wanted to. This episode is a response to a recent meme that's going around the interwebs, in which women post videos of men doing extravagant things to show their admiration and devotion. The caption, or subtitle, of these videos is invariably, if he wanted to, he would. The subtext here is that women should not be tolerating anything less than the royal treatment, and failure to deliver said treatment constitutes a lack of interest on the man's part. And today, I'm going to respond to this sentiment. I'll begin by saying, yeah, there's some truth to that. It's absolutely true that men will jump through their butts when they are extremely attracted to a woman, especially if they don't have any discipline or game. But the converse isn't necessarily true. That is, just because a man is not jumping through his butt doesn't necessarily mean he's not interested. He may just be playing his cards right. But yes, on the whole, male effort is correlated with male interest. However, this doesn't mean that women should expect to receive princess treatment. Lack of effort could stem from the fact that men are not that interested in her, which in turn could be due to the fact that she's not very attractive. Just saying the quiet part loud to keep everyone honest. Women watching this kind of content need to take it with a healthy dose of salt and make an objective reckoning of their physical attractiveness. Because, after all, men aren't showering those women with gifts because they have great personalities. But all this just scratches the surface. And we here at PsycHacks expect more from our content, so let's go a bit deeper with this. It's important to appreciate that these posts aren't nearly as girls' girl as they purport to be. In fact, most of them are subtle intrasexual jabs, sort of like a backhanded compliment with a lot of plausible deniability thrown in for good measure. They're the mimetic equivalent of a woman saying, "Oh, darling, bless your heart. I wish I had the self-confidence to wear that outfit." In case you don't speak woman, that is not, in fact, the compliment it appears to be. A woman who says this is functionally saying, "You look hideous, and I'd rather be dragged through the streets than be caught dead in what you're wearing." If he wanted to memes are essentially not so humble brags that the women in question are sufficiently attractive to inspire this type of behavior in men. That is, that they're much more attractive than the average woman who could only dream of being on the receiving end of such devotion. But rather than gloat outright, they're here to remind ladies everywhere that they should never settle for less than what they deserve. Namely, the whole world, queens. So a lot of this content is probably best understood as indirect self-aggrandizement, but not necessarily in the way that you would suppose, which leads me to my second point. The women are not that interested in the men in their videos. That's right. I'd bet real money that the men who are showering them with gifts and attention are not the men those women wish were starring in those reels. Ouch. If you appreciate the insights on this channel, I would highly encourage you to get your hands on a copy of my book, The Value of Others. Over the course of 432 pages, I delve deep into my economic model of relationships and explain the behavior of both men and women in the game of mating and dating. I also provide a lot of actionable advice on how to get and keep more of what you want in the sexual marketplace. Once you read The Value of Others, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Now available in ebook, audiobook, and paperback formats. The links are in the description. Now, why would I think that the women in question aren't actually that attracted to the men in their videos? Because what would be the point of publicly demonstrating that you are much more attractive than the average woman? Can we really just chalk that up entirely to pettiness and spite, which, for the record, are not in short supply? Why not just quietly enjoy your good fortune? Or could it be, possibly, maybe, that she might be trying to get a more attractive man to take notice. Let's take a small tangent here. Have you ever wondered why it's almost universally the female primate, whether chimp or human, who makes more noise during copulation? It's almost as if, for some strange reason, she's calling attention to the fact that she's currently on the business end of some intense male interest. Now, why would a female do that? Evolutionary psychology has the answer to that brainbuster, namely because she's trying to ensure that there isn't someone more suitable around to mate with. If her cries attract a bigger, stronger, healthier male who succeeds in scaring off her previous partner and picks up where he left off, then the female has only succeeded in improving her situation. And if no other males in earshot dare take up the challenge, then she can be reasonably assured that her original selection was correct. It's a no-lose proposition for the female. Males, on the other hand, tend to lower the volume when attending to their monkey business, as most of them would prefer not to attract any undue attention, thereby increasing the likelihood that they will be the sole supplier to that company in question. Now, it should go without saying that neither males nor females have any conscious intention of doing any of this, but this behavior is a little too aligned with each sex's reproductive priorities to just be a coincidence. In any case, a woman who publicly posts about a man's courtship efforts with gushing approval is kind of the social media equivalent of screaming loudly during sex. Oh my God, yes! Look at me. I'm getting so loved right now. I can hardly take it all. Oh, fuck, I'm his little princess. Oh God, yes I am. He's making me feel so good, so valued, etc., etc. And this behavior is actually designed to get other men to take notice. I mean, think about it. How could this display possibly benefit the man in the video? I think it's safe to say that if such a display benefited him, that is, if such a display caused a host of other women to slide into his DMs, and if the woman in question actually valued that relationship, then there would be no way in hell the ecstatic woman would actually post that content. So we have to assume the risk-reward profile is in her favor. That is, that the potential risk that some other woman will steal away her good-loving man is less than the potential reward that a more attractive man will steal her away from him. Wow. In fact, I think a lot of these posts are actually subtle jealousy traps. I'm reasonably confident that a lot of these women are posting content like this out of the hope that some man she was more attracted to in the past, but who wouldn't give her what she wanted, will see his competition get jealous and make an effort to win her back. Remember, contentment is quiet. Discontentment is loud. The more a woman carries on about her good fortune, the less likely she has anything to boast about. At the end of the day, this meme is the female equivalent of, say, a man posting covert videos of a woman wearing a nurse's outfit, giving him a blowjob in a public place with the caption, "If she wanted to, she would." Like, that's the male equivalent to champagne flutes and private jets and expensive jewelry. The message is the same. She didn't like you, little bro. If she did, she would have been a little whore for you. But look who turned her out. She needed a real man. And are there any other women out there who need a real man? And the only reason we don't see more of this is that it's just more socially acceptable for women to explicitly brag about their access to men's resources than it is for men to openly boast about their access to women's sexuality. It's crass, but that doesn't make it untrue. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. And please, send this episode to someone who you think might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. I have a few other value props if you're interested. There is my free weekly newsletter for which I write original content. And I also offer paid one-on-one consultations with yours truly. You can find out about both of those through my website. There's also my best-selling book, The Value of Others, available on paperback, audiobook, and ebook formats, in which I explore intersexual dynamics more fully, and my private member community, The Captain's Quarters, where I host bi-monthly group consultation calls and Q&As with invited guests from all over the internet. It's a great crowd. Check it out if you are so inclined. The links to everything are in the description below. As always, I appreciate your support, and thank you for listening.